Welcome back, everyone, to The Art of Awesome. I am your host, Nick Troutman, and this is the show where we search for that secret sauce to success.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Today is Friday, so we've got another Friday Fire coming at you guys. And if you guys haven't already, please go ahead and hit subscribe, as it's just going to be the easiest and quickest way for you guys to stay up to date and in tune as we do these cool Friday Fire bite-size, shorter pieces of content. And then also on Mondays, we've got our longer format deep dive interviews with some just amazing individuals and some really cool guests that we have had over the show. But it's Friday, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. But something that I really wanted to talk with you guys about today is the concept behind how we overestimate what we can do in a day, in a week, in a year, but we greatly underestimate how much we can do in a decade. So if you're anything like me and you wrote down, your goals back in January for the year, or maybe you keep a daily journal and you keep goals and you write down your goals, something that I definitely do and I'm a huge advocate for. And I think it was actually one of our first episodes. Maybe it was the very first episode of the podcast was all about goal setting. If you guys haven't listened to that, I highly recommend you guys go check it out. Because again, I'm a huge advocate and proponent of goal setting. I think it's hugely beneficial, and it's the greatest way for you to succeed in life and to continue going forward is first having an aim, having a goal, knowing where you're headed. But something that I do a lot personally, and I think probably we all do, is write down a list of goals for the year. And, it might be like a page or 2 pages long, whatever it is. It's a lot of goals. There's a lot of things that I want to do in a year. And I mean, I do the same thing in a day and I do the same thing in a week where I'm just always thinking like, oh, I'm going to get all this stuff done. Oh, I'm just going to just bam, 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 list it all out and I can get all of this stuff done. And I mean, again, me personally, one of my biggest faults is time management. I'm working on it, I would say. I wouldn't say I'm horrible at it, because if I say that I'm putting that out in the universe and I'm trying to work on it. So I'm trying to get better. I would say that time management so far hasn't been one of my strengths. And part of that is that I easily get distracted, and 2, I take on a lot of different things and I don't always prioritize what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. Either way, the point of this all is that I regularly take on more than I can chew, both in a day as well as in a week, and even so much as in a year, where I'll think like, oh, I'm going to do all of this stuff this year. Now, that's something that I think I'm not the only one that does that. If I am, great. You guys can turn off the podcast or skip to the next one or whatever. This isn't for you, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that I'm probably not the only person that does this, that we all think that we can get a lot of stuff done throughout the week, throughout the year, maybe throughout the day. But at the same point, I think a lot of us greatly underestimate what we can do in a decade. And I was actually thinking about this when I was going for a run this morning. And if I was to think back a decade ago, really what I've got right now, it would just be so much of a pipe dream for me at the time, where it's like, oh, if I could 10 years ago, I would have married my wife already. We're coming up on 13 years married, which is crazy to think already. But if I was to go back to 13 years ago, the life that I live today would very much be a pipe dream. But even if I was to go back only 10 years ago, the concept of building this dream house that we live in, having two amazing children, getting to do what I love for work, traveling the world, seeing, the places that I've been and meeting the people that I've met. And again, I'm not trying to brag on all, the great things that I've done in life, but I'm just trying to say that I have achieved a lot in the last 10 years that I never would have dreamed of. And I think that we can all do that. We can all look back at, 10 years ago and think like, we've all probably achieved greatness within 10 years. Um, and, and it's just this concept between kind of that balance between overestimating what we might be doing or what we might think we can do in a day, in a week, and in a year, and underestimating what we do in 10 years. And it's that persistence. What it comes down to is not getting one, burnt out, and not getting too overwhelmed on the list of all these things that you feel you have to get done, today or this week or this year, but playing the long game, knowing that, okay, if this is my long-term goal, if this is my 10-year goal, not to push it off in saying like, oh, I've got some time, but also not getting overwhelmed with needing to achieve a 10-year goal in 1 year or 1 week. Knowing that in 10 years time from now, if you just keep at it, no matter what that goal is, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. We've all heard it a million times. I've got another episode that I talked all about baby steps, but just the concept between persistence, staying at it, and just kind of continue growth, continue action, continually moving forward, you will achieve whatever goals you have in life. And I think from 10 years, if you were to look at life right now and where you want to be in 10 years, I think you might be shocked to 10 years from now, look back and be like, man, I can't believe I did it. I can't believe I'm where I'm at. You'll likely probably exceed your 10-year goals because that persistent action, you start kicking into that compound effect and growth, just the exponential curve kicks in and you start achieving and growing and accumulating if that's what you're looking for, but things at a much faster pace. And so it's very slow at the start. And that's where the greatest obstacles are. But if you keep at it, I guarantee you that compound effect and that bell curve will kick in, and you will start rampantly progressing later on when you're getting into year 6, 7, 8, 9. By year 10, you will likely already exceed your wildest dreams in those 10-year goals. So the action items I've got for you guys here today would be, one, to write down a 10-year goal, because going back to the start, I'm a big proponent of goal setting. And I think if you want to know, if you want to achieve something, if you want to reach a destination, first you got to know where you want to go. So write down a 10-year goal. Where do you want to be? What is something that you would like to achieve? What is something that you want to have? Who is somebody maybe that you want to be with, or just a feeling that you want to have? Write that all down. And then the second part of this is stay persistent. Don't get caught up in how fast it's coming. Don't get caught up in the obstacles that are going to come along the way. Because I guarantee you there's going to be obstacles. I guarantee you. And likely there's going to be obstacles that you could never have even imagined. I mean, who would have guessed that COVID would have came along? How many people would consider that an obstacle to their goals and dreams and desires that they've had? But keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. It's all about that persistency. It's all about that action every day, small steps. It's the same thing about, running a marathon, those baby steps. Anyway, that was just something that I wanted to share with you guys. Honestly, I was not trying to brag at all about anything that I've achieved. And if anything, it's just joy for me. It's happiness. I'm certainly not trying to say, anything above anybody else. I'm just very grateful for the life that I live. And I want you guys all to achieve your goals in life. Honestly, it's the reason why I have this podcast. My whole purpose is just to share positivity, to share insight, to share things that have worked for me. And yeah, it was just something I was thinking about this morning when I was going for a run. So, guys, go out there, write your 10-year goal, and remember, stick at it. Don't worry about the time. You guys got this. And send me a message if you guys want to share maybe one of your goals that you guys have for 10 years down the time. Or if you guys are still listening in 10 years' time, let me know if you guys have greatly achieved or surpassed your goals. Or send me a message also if you can relate, if you can look back 10 years' time and maybe you have surpassed your wildest dreams of where you thought you could have been 10 years ago. Anyway, reach out to me, guys. Hit me up on Instagram at Nick Troutman Kayak, or leave me a rating and review on the Apple Podcast app, as I would greatly appreciate that. And it's the greatest way that you guys can help us kind of share this out, as it helps the algorithm kind of spread it out to more and more people. Anyway, that's just the Friday Fire I wanted to share with you guys today. So thank you so much for listening. Hope you guys got some value out of it. I'm Nick Troutman signing off, wishing you guys all an awesome day. Cheers.